All right. So, today we are doing a bit of a repair video on the Cetus X. Um, I don't know if it's entirely visible there or not, but along in this spot right here, I cracked. In the other video, you could definitely see it, but along right here, I cracked, and right in here, I cracked as well, and it popped completely out. Also, cracking along the mount right here for the motor. So I did super glue it in CA activator and strengthener to it, and it has held up kind of since. I've had to kind of super glue it once in a great while to be able to piece her back together here and there, but it still held up until I got my new frame in the mail. So I got every piece that I do need with some replacement screws as well, just in case. I don't think I'm going to be really needing the replacement screws though. Um, as of right now, drone still works perfectly fine. I will just real quick do a test plug-in. But everything's been still working perfectly fine on it. Still flies really good. Um, so yeah, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of being able to repair this sucker. So my first thought was to get the canopy off, then go through and detach the camera because there is a cord inside of there that it attaches to the VTX, which the VTX and camera is pretty much like a combination together in the Cetus X, from what I could tell online. I'm not entirely a professional with these things. Still relatively new to the whole hobby myself. So, um, did end up getting a electric screwdriver kit to be able to do repairs on my drones as well. Um, Off to the side right here, you can kind of see it just a little bit. I do have a magnetic screw holder for being able to do jobs like these ones. So, um, there we go. All right, come on out. There. There we go. All right, that one's out. So I just need to remember that the first chunk right there on my thing is for the canopy. So now at this point, I should be able to just slide this right here on out and then take the cable here and detach her. And I don't think I'm going to replace the canopy. I think I'm just going to honestly keep mine together because the canopy was perfectly fine. It does have a little bit of scuff marks on it, but I don't really care. Um, so I'm just going to keep that together and not really worry about using this old canopy. If it does end up cracking, I can always replace it with this, the newer one. Um, all right. At this point, I think I'm going to go through and detach all of the motors now, if I can. I'm not gonna try too hard. You know what? We're gonna get this off first. So manually loosen that one, just like that. Okay, manually, and then go forward. Seems like some of the screws are a little bit looser than other ones, possibly. So kind of glad that I'm going through and doing this too, because like some of them boys look a little loose. So it was actually at this point that I did actually start regretting doing it the way that I was going about repairing my drone. I really wish I had actually kept the base plate and flight controller um, screwed in and then just taken out the motor connectors, because you will see a little bit here soon that I was struggling really hard to be able to get the motor connectors off. And I will end up actually just showing me getting only one of the motor connectors off and then skipping through the rest of them and just cutting to when I have all of the motor connectors off and I'm working on getting the motors off. And use these tweezers to... I'm always afraid of using tweezers on electrical components, actually. So... one motor off. Now, time for the other ones. Alright, welcome back, guys. We got the flight controller officially off now. So here's that little sucker. He's quite small for a tiny whoop. It's an all-in-one board. Has the pins down here, so you don't have to solder anything, and you can just connect motors with these plugs, which is really nice. Does add weight and also doesn't give the motors the correct amount of draw they kind of technically need for their whole voltage system. So it is nice for beginners like me, yes, but it is also kind of a downside as well. So my next thought was, so I don't have to necessarily figure out which one went into which plug type deal. I'm going to honestly just plug and play them. I'm going to take off the front one right here and put it into the front one right here, just exactly the way that they had it. So just be putting those screws off to the side for right now so I don't lose anything. There's that one. Boom, out comes the motor. So we got the first motor out now. That means we're just going to take it and kind of just plop her straight back into the corresponding spot that it was at before, but on the new frame. And go in here like so. Shit. Okay. And I'm not entirely going to go tight on these ones just yet until I get at least the two cross pattern on it. Make sure that it's not sticking too much out the bottom. And then tighten up. Okay. So just gonna get the last two screws in, and then we will go from there. Up the torque. Okay. I want to go over torquing on it. Okay, so okay, first motor mounted now. Essentially going to do the same exact thing that I did with the connectors. I'm going to show me taking off the first motor, putting it on the new frame, and then I'm going to just cut to when I have all of the motors connected, and then me putting the flight controller on. Entirely say I don't know how I would handle all of the power behind it, but you know, we will see. With the race spec Hummingbird V3, I've heard that those can be very, very, very powerful. Little nasty drones. Right, we need to make sure that we get that cord down there for the VTX. On top of that, make sure we don't accidentally fuck up the ELRS antenna. Right, make sure all of them are on there, like so, like so, like so, like so. Push all the way down. Perfect. Flush. Make sure it's flush, and then we can take this ELRS antenna, gently push it down and into its little slot right here. Also, the front of the drone, it definitely matters unless you want to go through and have to go into beta flight and figure out how to make sure that the front of the drone is the front of the drone. If you're doing this, the antenna for the ELRS antenna right here, it's a little copper wire, is the front of your drone, pretty much. So you just got to make sure that that goes to the front. As you can tell, that is the front of the drone, right there, front of the drone. So just got to make sure that that's like that, and then you'll be set. And then on top of that, for this little portion right here, the bottom plate, the 0 that's right there, I don't know if you can entirely see that, it looks like you can on my screen, is what is the front as well of that bottom plate. So if there's any confusion for that when you're doing this yourself, if you are unlucky and have to do this yourself, that is that. That'll be nice. Okay. A little quarter screw. Okay, so now we get to play the fun game of plug in all of the motors now. So another daunting task of I don't want to accidentally break the flight controller. It's an all-in-one board that they don't sell specifically by itself for the freaking Cetus X. This is actually kind of painful trying to do. There we go. Okay. I think I want to say that's in. Okay, now last two. Last one. And all right, so next all we got to do is just get the camera on VTX plugged in. Okay, it's plugged in. Now, the last two. One thing that I will mention that I actually had to do off camera after I made this video, I did have to take the canopy pack off and then actually go through and kind of twist with the cable so it'll be kind of wound up a little bit more, because I did notice that the cable was coming up and pushing up against the UFL connector for the VTX antenna. Now with the UFL connectors, they are actually quite fragile. If you break those, then you're kind of screwed and you have to buy a whole VTX camera combination. Those can be a little pricey. So my advice is kind of just twist it up a little bit after you connect the cable to the VTX camera, and then put the canopy on afterwards. Screws. She'll be back together. Okay. Now that's a little too loose. Trying to get it to like a good feel for not too tight again. Okay, perfect. So now time to turn off that. We are going to test to see, make sure that there is communication between the goggles and the drone as well. I'm kind of scared to do this as a first test of it being back together. Hopefully it don't blow up on me. Although I didn't do anything electrical wise. It looks like all motors were moving there, and I'm getting camera reception, so we are doing pretty a-okay-o, I would say. Drone looks beautiful again, as it was the first day that I fucking got it. Not entirely because of that little scuffing on the top of the canopy, but, you know, hey, what can I say? I was having fun and overdid it as a beginner in the FPV community. So, yeah, that's going to be it for the repair portion of the video. I technically should actually still see if the motors are spinning in the correct way, but I do believe that they are going to be no matter what because like it's the same exact flight controller and same motors, so it should be perfectly fine. Um, so, um, but yeah, that was that should have been the everything that you guys need to know about repairing your Cetus X if you were in the same boat that I was in, where I accidentally fucked it up within the first couple days of me owning the drone, and decided to smack it into an icy road. So, um, if you liked the video, go ahead, hit the like button, and hopefully subscribe as well to be able to get more content for the Cetus X and other drones like it in the future. As of right now, I think I'm just going to be sticking with the tiny whoops and just the whoop class in general. I've been having a lot of fun flying them in the simulators and a lot of fun flying my Cetus X in general. Um, Definitely thinking about getting that Air 65 or Hummingbird V3.1 for my next drone. So just let me know what in the comments you guys, if you guys have any questions or concerns about anything dealing with the Cetus X. I can hopefully give you a little bit of feedback on my experience with it, and maybe give me feedback on what you think would be the best drone to get next if I were to buy another one, be it like the Air 65 or the Hummingbird V3.1. Again, thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.